You know, it's clearly established law that a vehicle driven by a person and used to harm someone is a deadly weapon. Deadly force is perfectly lawful when a threat is faced by a weapon. So I do believe that this officer used his training in this situation, and we'll let the FBI continue the investigation to get it resolved.
This shooting in Minnesota, it's the Democrats' fault. It goes back to Joe Biden and has been perpetuated by every governor and every mayor that has been promoting and pushing sanctuary cities and defying ICE and creating snitch lines to alert people when ICE is coming. This has emboldened protesters and agitators to take to the streets and not simply protest, but get hands-on, get involved, and obstruct justice. A woman is dead because she was where she was not supposed to be, and Governor Walz and the mayor and the feckless police chief of Minneapolis, their hands are stained with blood. Welcome to a night edition of the Afternoon Drive. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Once you are, smack the bell, click the word all. That'll give you notification of my rants, my ravings, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Please like and share this video. It's the only way that we can get the word out that we're here. Thank you for watching. And this is a place where you are going to get absolutely unabridged, unashamed, unabashed, absolute
warning, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
I'm not going to sit here and say, what a tragedy for this poor woman and her family. Let's get a few things straight. Her license plates indicate she's not from Minnesota. She was there as a professional agitator. She was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and she was not simply making her voice heard. She was obstructing justice. Let's be clear. 2,000 ICE agents were in Minneapolis because Governor Walz has allowed rampant fraud to take place, not just among the Somali community, but among the illegals being there in general. He has allowed this. This is what left loonism gets you. And because this lawlessness has been allowed, sanctuary given, and it started with Joe Biden and that cancer of a VP, Camilla thinks she's a hottie Harris, opening the southern border and allowing people to be here illegally, doing nothing about it. And then Donald Trump has to come in and not only secure the border, but begin the process of deporting people who are not supposed to be here. So yes, 2,000 ICE officers have descended on Minneapolis, and they were not just going door to door and rampantly grabbing people. They were there rounding up criminals who are not supposed to be here. They were engaged in federal law enforcement. Let's be clear. When you grab a police officer while he's in the line of duty, you are obstructing justice. You're not protesting. You're not voicing a complaint. You are creating chaos and a dangerous situation for the police, the law enforcement, in this case, ICE. And let's be really clear. These are men who are armed. They have guns. And when you put them in a situation which is fraught with chaos and you are agitating it and making it worse, I personally am shocked this is the first anything like this has happened. Now again, the video footage is clear. She was told to get out of the vehicle. She backed up and then aimed her vehicle at an ICE officer.
No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my God! What the
As a pastor, what I'm about to say may sound very cold-hearted to you. F around, find out. And that's exactly what happened to her. She obstructed justice. She got in the way. She's like some of these heifer women in other cities who have thrown themselves in front of ICE vans, and then when the van starts to accelerate and they get knocked to the ground screaming, how did this happen? How did this happen? What did you think was going to happen? You stepped in front of a 1-ton vehicle and thought what? You yelling in your purple hair was going to make them stop? And the Democrats telling people constantly, take to the streets. The Democrats standing out in neighborhoods screaming, it's ICE, don't open your doors. When you have governors and mayors telling the illegals that are there, don't open the door. Call our snitch line. When you have people creating apps so that the illegals know the movements of ICE in their area, they created the hostile situation for this to happen. Let's not forget, it was just a few weeks ago. Where was it? In Chicago, there was a sniper who shot at ICE officers, missed, and actually killed an illegal. The officer who shot this woman, all reports indicate that a month prior, he was dragged by a vehicle. And I am certain he decided in that moment, as he saw this SUV coming at him, that wasn't happening a second time.
You know, it's clearly established law that a vehicle driven by a person and used to harm someone is a deadly weapon. Deadly force is perfectly lawful when a threat is faced by a weapon. So I do believe that this officer used his training in this situation, and we'll let the FBI continue the investigation to get it resolved.
This rhetoric is what gets people killed.
We have been warning for weeks that the Trump administration's dangerous, sensationalized operations are a threat to our public safety, that someone was going to get hurt. Just yesterday, I said exactly that. What we're seeing is the consequences of governance designed to generate fear, headlines, and conflict. It's governing by reality TV. And today that recklessness cost someone their life.
No, Timmy, I know you want to take the spotlight off of your collusion with fraud, and I'm sure we're going to find out that it was more than you just being inept, that you're absolutely criminal in this, and somehow some of that money got kicked into your campaign coffers and into your personal bank accounts through these so-called Somali daycares, adult cares, health care, etc., etc., etc. But this isn't Donald Trump ordering ICE officers in to shoot people. This is you and your ilk. This is the Gavin Newsoms. This is the AOCs. This is the Democratic Party riling this up. And rather than telling people, listen, obey, submit, and this is law enforcement you're interfering with.
Since Governor Walz has been in charge of Minnesota, we have seen homicides go up by over 50%. That's also during Mayor Fry's tenure as well. Since President Trump took office, Governor Walz has released over 470 violent criminals back onto the streets here in Minneapolis. He has another 680 of them still within his jurisdiction that he could give to us today to face the consequences for their crimes. Because Governor Walz and Mayor Fry refuse to protect Minnesotans, and instead they protect these criminals, that's why we are here. And we didn't just show up yesterday, we've always been here. But we're surging operations because of the dangerous situation we see in this country, and because we're no longer going to allow illegal criminals to damage and harm, to kill, to sexually abuse, to proliferate drugs, and to steal American taxpayers' dollars.
You know, the funny thing is the police officer who shot an unarmed woman during the J6 protest, which you want to call an insurrection, Ashley Babbitt, she was unarmed. And yet this guy has been given accolades and awards and the Bronze Star for service. But now all of a sudden, it's a leftist woman who literally, using her vehicle as a weapon, you now want this ICE officer to get the electric chair. And you want to use this now to embolden people, to rile them up. You want Minneapolis on fire again, because remember, it was Tim Walz's wife who said his people's businesses were being burned to the ground. The smell of burning tires is the smell of freedom.
I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops.
And then Tim Walz saying that he is organizing the National Guard, and he said, this is our National Guard. Are you inferring that your National Guard is going to go up against the federal ICE officers? Are you declaring that Minnesota is now in a state of insurrection, rebellion, and seceding from the Union, and you're going to take on the federal officers? Because you're going to force President Trump to federalize the National Guard and take them out of your control. You do get that, right, Timmy?
And I'm a knucklehead at times.
Do not let the lying legacy, corporate, corrupt mainstream media or the Democrats spin this the way they want to spin it. Do not listen to their narrative. This ICE officer did his job. The tragedy is that rather than the governor taking to the podium and telling people, go home, no, he stirred this up. He is creating insurrection. And then these female protesters. I heard this on the Adam Carolla show today, and I think he's actually onto something. See, this is the result of, again, I know we live in a country now that doesn't want to recognize that there's distinctions between genders and gender can be fluid. No, there's a way boys deal with things, there's a way girls deal with things. And boys grow up and they get in fights and they begin to learn things like, if you're a pipsqueak with a big mouth, somebody's going to close that big mouth for you. Women haven't learned that, because even in the society of libloons who can't define a woman, one of the unwritten rules still is you can't hit a woman. And so they think they can just insert themselves into these situations, grab ICE officers, use their vehicles, scream, yell, punch, throw things, throw bottles, throw rocks, and you can't do anything to me. I'm a woman. Maybe we need to retrain our boys on that whole don't hit girls thing. Pastor Martin, no, I'm serious. This is getting out of hand. Most men have a healthy respect and fear of guys that are bigger than them and guys that are armed. And these libloon, fanatic crazos, and that's what they are. An entire state of Minnesota apparently is just now overrun with crazos. The tragedy here is Joe Biden opened the border. Libloonism and wokeism was allowed to flourish under his administration. And now we have to re-educate people that the villain here is not the ICE officer. The villain here are the Democratic governors and mayors who have allowed this criminal behavior to happen in their cities and in their states, and these people have been left unchecked to bilk and commit fraud and make millions and billions of dollars and have driver's licenses without citizenship and to vote and to start telling us how things are going to be, right down to Minnesota changing their flag to look like the flag of Somalia. The Democrats have created this bloodshed. The woman who died today died because of Democrat libloon ideology. They killed her. They made her a domestic terrorist. She was radicalized by the libloon left.
This city has burned before, and your mayor and your governor let it happen.
For those of you that might be wondering, is this guy really a pastor? Why don't you come pay us a visit the next time you're in Macon, Georgia? I'd love to see you. I'll save you a seat.